Effective partnerships between law enforcement and community stakeholders are essential to public safety. What is Peel Regional Police doing to build this partnership in the community? We are delighted to have this important conversation with the chaplain coordinator for Peel Regional Police, Mr. Curtis Hinds. Please join me in welcoming him to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
You're so welcome, Molly. It's my absolute pleasure to be here today.
So please give us information on what Peel Regional Police is doing to build this bridge in the community.
It's a great question. Peel Regional Police has had a very robust, long-standing relationship within the community of Peel Region. Peel Region is a large community. Peel Regional Police are the third largest police force, regional police force in Canada. And we have an entire department that is developed around a focus on community engagement and just kind of melting the wall between the community and police and the misconceptions regarding that. Peel is also a very, very diverse, culturally diverse region. So a lot of our work has to do with touching those very diverse cultures within Peel as well. So it's a very, very involved aspect of what Peel Police does in the community.
So what are some of the initiatives that you have?
Well, there is right now an emerging mandate called a Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan that is massive mandate that Peel Regional Police is part of that mandate. It's actually a province-wide mandate, and in short, how it works. Forgive me for not having too many details regarding this, but how it works is it's kind of like a work backwards initiative where the very worst of the case is that you have, let's say, for example, a young person who's involved, unfortunately, in crimes or other illegal activities. What the initiative is to actually work itself backwards and be able to put in place initiatives that will prevent that from even happening. So it's a fantastic initiative. It's not just Peel Regional Police. The Peel Regional Police is part of the initiative, but it really is a province-wide initiative that involves, oh my gosh, mental health, involves the schools, it involves community centers, it involves pretty much every single aspect of what makes up the well-being of a community. So it's quite expansive.
Okay, well, that's a really good initiative. Help us to understand from the community's point of view, what is the point of view that the law enforcement brings to the table? Because we understand how important this partnership is more today than ever before.
Yes.
And let me explain to you why I feel that way. Because there is a growing trust deficit between the community and the police force, and that's just about any police force, not in particular to Peel Regional Police. And in order for the police to do their job well, which is to protect and keep the people safe, they need to know that the community is behind them and the community understands them. And the same way, the community needs to know that the police is on their side.
Yes, yes.
Right? So this is a very important bridge that needs to be built on a regular basis, because more so now than ever before, as I mentioned before, because of this trust deficit that is there. So how do we build that bridge in such a way that the police can do its job properly and the community can back them up and feel safe?
That's a phenomenal question, Molly. Fantastic question. Everything rises and falls on leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And within that framework, every effective measure that policing can do in a community has to do with relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that trust is always built not on the basis of I'm an authority figure and you have to obey me, but trust is always built on the foundation of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that is the way that when you look at effective policing in North America, in Canada, in Ontario, when you look at effective policing, the relational aspect is the key that has made those initiatives successful.
Mm-hmm.
Let's even take a step back and not say initiatives. It has changed the culture of the interaction between law enforcement and the public. It's about relationship. The perceptions need to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
Need to be changed, and that's the way it's done, and that's the way it's being done. That's the way it's being done. There's some very, very effective, amazing testimonies of how that is being done and being done very well. It's a great question.
Mm-hmm. Because if this problem is not addressed properly, then I don't believe that the police can do their job properly, and nor can the community feel safe. So this is a very important partnership that needs to work, and in order for it to work, there has to be a culture of mutual respect. By that, what I mean is the community needs to respect the police, and police needs to do the same.
Yeah.
And most of the time, that is what the intention is, right? But once in a while, we do have incidents where media reports that they show us pictures, when sometimes situations don't appear to be the way they really should be, or they feel that the police was being, uh, maybe more was stricter in the way they enforce the law than the situation demanded. So what are some of the measures that Peel Regional Police has in place to address? Once in a while, it does appear that some police officers become a little bit too aggressive, perhaps, maybe use more force than is required to handle the situation. And so what are some of the measures that Peel Regional Police has in place in order to curb that kind of behavior?
Well, I can't address any specific instances to be quite honest, but I do know that we have again a very robust system of accountability. Everything in policing is about accountability. Everybody has to report to someone. So there are a lot of measures in place to ensure not just how police interact with the public, but the perception of how police interact with the public.
It's also very important.
Yeah, very, very important. So what oftentimes happens is we don't see the immense amount of training that goes into policing with regards to perceptions, with regards to how to treat people in the public. So yeah, it's a very, very strong part, because really and truly it's foundational, because if there is not a proper interaction with the public, then really policing is they're not free to do what they're intended to do, which is serve and protect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any particular incident in mind. Police in Canada, all over, most of them are wonderful people. I myself have said that publicly many, many times, that we've had such a great experience with the Toronto Police. When our house was broken into, we had a break and enter, and how the police handled everything. They're just
Terrific.
really, really wonderful people. And the police officer who was in charge of our case, he remained in touch with us for a long time.
Phenomenal.
He would just call us up, and that's how I got to know a different side, because, coming from countries where we don't have any trust in the police.
Yes.
And, I was told when I was growing up by my father that if anything goes wrong ever, don't go to the police.
Right.
Right? So
Right.
that's how we
Yeah,
grew up.
yeah.
And but that's not how the police is here.
Yeah.
And I think it's just for the information of even new people who are coming. We get new immigrants coming
Very
to Canada.
important.
So it's for their benefit as well, so they understand. And yes, sometimes, we've had incidents in the past where some police officers they just got carried away. And I can understand how that would also happen, because I've thought about it. These are mostly type A people, and their job is to take control of the situation, bring law and order back into whatever the situation might be. And sometimes people can get carried away. And so that's why it's really important for people to know that when things like that do happen, then there are measures that can be taken, and there are things already in place to keep those kinds of situations from getting out of hand. Because as you alluded to, it's not what reality is, it's also perception. How is it being perceived? How is the media projecting that? And sometimes, it is unfortunate that the media doesn't always give us the right perspective. Okay, so how long have you been with Peel Regional Police?
I've been the chaplain coordinator, proudly, chaplain coordinator of Peel Regional Police for 13 years now.
Wow, long time.
Long time.
All right.
Well, and the funny thing is, Molly, really, in the policing world, it's not a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very long tenure.
So give our viewers, because you get to deal with the police officers, right? What are some of the things that police officers struggle with? That would be really important for the public to know, because we only get to see these strong men and women, who are well trained, they have these amazing uniforms, they know how to handle situations, but at the end of the day, they're just people.
That's correct.
Right? And so what are some of the things that they come to you with and say, this is what I'm struggling with, and these are my issues, and this is what is bothering me?
Well, I think you really nailed it. In terms of any specifics, I can't go into that, but you really nailed it, Molly. Here's the thing. Law enforcement are people. They are people who, at the end of the day, they go home to their husbands, their wives, their significant others, their sons and their daughters, their mothers and their fathers. So I want you to think of it this way, and I'm saying not you, Molly, because I know you understand, but I want you viewers to think of it this way. What issues do you face in everyday life? Now, whatever issues you face in everyday life, whatever struggles that you experience in everyday life, law enforcement experience exactly the same thing. And it's such a good question, because I think what we need is empathy. What is empathy? It's the ability to step into somebody else's shoes and feel what they feel. And I think if we had a few ounces of empathy, we would begin to see that we essentially are the same, right? So to answer your question, yes, it's a great question. There is no difference between what we experience as public. I'm not a sworn officer, I'm a civilian, and what any officer in law enforcement would experience. It's the same thing.
Yes, because also I think their issues probably are a little bit more complex, because they're having to deal with the worst of the worst. They're not, dealing with the best of the best every single day, because their job is to handle and take care of situations and people that are not, law-abiding citizens. And so, and I think it's really important for we as the public to also see that at the end of the day, they are people as well, right? And they have feelings and they have emotions. And many times, people are really harsh in their criticism of the police because they just look at it as an institution. But it's not just an institution.
That's correct.
It's an institution made up of people.
Yeah.
There are men and women who wake up every single day, come to work.
Yes.
And their family members don't always know that they're going to come back home. And so it is because of them that we get to live in safe communities, and we get to do whatever it is that we need to do to live the lives that we want to live. And so we are grateful, and we want to let everybody know, everyone who is involved with the law enforcement, whether they are Peel Regional Police or Toronto Police Service or any other agency that is involved in keeping our cities, our communities, and our nation safe. Well, we salute you, and we're grateful to you, and we support you, and we stand with you. This is how the majority of people feel. And so thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. We appreciate Peel Regional Police. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Molly.